After weeks of campaigning, it's here. The 2018 general municipal election is today. In the city of Vernon, there are 24 candidates running, 20 for council, 4 for mayor. Of the 4 mayoral candidates, not one has elected official experience. On October 10th, Castanet sat down and had a discussion with the 4 mayoral candidates, and one of the questions posed to the candidates was, why should members of the voting public in Vernon not be concerned that their next mayor is lacking elected official experience? We'd like to share their responses with you now. So, if I may, let's address the elephant in the room to all of you. While you all have governance experience, you have leadership experience. Some of you have even sat on city commission boards, committees, or task forces. However, none of you have elected official experience. Please, Mr. Taylor, why should voters in Vernon not be concerned that their next mayor is lacking elected official experience?
It's a good question, Josh. Thank you. You know, as you mentioned, none of us around this table have served in office before. It comes down to, in my determination, the brand of leadership, the style of leadership, the type of city that we want to have going forward, and the atmosphere and the culture in council, and by extension, the culture in City Hall. What I believe that I bring to the job is 2 decades of experience in governance, but more than that, a track record of bringing people together and maintaining a culture, a healthy, positive culture, what some in my organization call a culture of, how do we say, a culture of honor. And the reason that that has become something that I've been speaking about is because what's important in council, as with any board of directors, is that there be some unity. There'll be tough debate. Votes will go this way, votes will go that way. When council leaves the room after a vote, council speaks as one voice. Same as on a board of directors at any organization. Contentious debate, there'll be votes, may go my way, might go someone else's way. It's going to be challenging. When council leaves chambers, we speak as one voice. Why is that important? It's important because if we leave council divided and sniping at one another, the community remains divided. You can count on me as a leader to work at culturing an atmosphere where we have each other's back, where after a contentious vote, if it doesn't go my way or anyone's way on the team, what I would suggest is appropriate is that we stand up and say, this is the will of council, we're moving forward in this direction. What we've seen instead, in recent years especially, is some sniping between councillors, and by extension, division within the community. That culture of honor and the idea of placing principles before personalities is an important part of who I am as a man, as a father, as a husband, and as a business person. I would propose bringing that to City Hall, bringing it to the culture in council. That's the style of leadership that I bring. I'm also the type of person that is comfortable having uncomfortable conversations and digging into topics that sometimes people don't want to talk about. And we're dealing with issues right now in our city that are uncomfortable, issues that are going to require us bringing together people that maybe haven't been together before. In my professional experience, that's what I've been doing for the better part of 2 decades, is helping people come together under contentious circumstances and leaving with a win-win circumstance and moving forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taylor. I'm going to pose the exact same question to you, Mr. Cumming. Would you like me to read it again?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
That's yours, sir.
One of the things I just really, the English language is always a bit complex. So there's a difference between governments and governance. And like Mr. Taylor at the other end, I've had a lot of involvement with either enterprises or social committees or community societies where we're doing governance. And as you said, that isn't government. My day job has been working with governments, and that has involved advising directly to councils, whether they be local governments, whether they be regional governments, provincial governments, sometimes national governments. My role is, particularly in the last 15 years, has been at the council level or at the elected official level. So I've had significant experience directly across the table. I've also had the experience that goes with that. That means media, that means community groups, that means being a spokesperson, that means working with councils on critical decisions. Quite often it's related to economic development and therefore it's in camera. So my role in those situations is to be the facilitator, deal with the complicated issues, bring forward the complicated issues from communities. So that's one place where I just feel really strong, is it's this facilitation and focusing and working in complex areas in which local government has been involved in and its local government's mandate. The second part, which is critical as well, is I have a long history. My specialty is in community participation planning, community participation decision making, this kind of interaction with the community in terms of OCP work or transportation policy. These are things that I've worked at on a daily basis. So I feel very comfortable in front of people in that sort of way. I understand quite a bit about the land planning and land planning regulations, so I feel very comfortable in those conversations about development permits and zoning changes and that sort of significant part, maybe 50% of what a local government does is related to land planning issues. So I feel like I'm bringing a level of technical understanding and facilitation experience that will translate because of my work with governments.
Thank you, Mr. Cumming. Mr. Gorley, your turn. Would you like me to ask you the question again?
Yes, please.
All right. So you all have some level of leadership and governance, but my question is, should voters in Vernon be concerned that their next mayor does not have elected official experience?
Well, hi there, everybody. My name is Art Gorley, and I live at 4908 Bellevue Drive. Come look at the house; it looks pretty good. I'm a painter. I started painting in 1964. Then I decided to take an apprenticeship in the painting trade with local I took an apprenticeship with the BC Ferries as a painter. I learned how to scrape rust and spray paint, and then I joined the Painters Union in the 1970, and what happened there, I became a member of the executive board of the union. So I feel that's got something to do with running things, right? And I'm still painting today, and I'm 75, believe it or not. I can't believe it myself. Time goes by really fast. But the reason I decided to run for mayor is I have pictures here of the way the city does painting in the city. The curbs, they're never done properly. I've been complaining I've been up here 12 years now. And that's the kind of work that goes on in the city here, painting in the painting area. And being on the executive board of the Painters Union, this is not the kind of work that should be done in the city of Vernon. And that's why me becoming the mayor of the city will make sure that the curves are done right. We'll start at the bottom, right? Then we'll work our way up. Then there's buildings, the A1 welding machine shop down behind the Prestige Inn there, and on that, I'm not sure what the street is.
Sorry, Mr. Gorley, if I may, I'm going to try to get you back on topic instead of talking about this.
Oh, yeah,
the
no, the
question
reason
is more why should voters not be concerned that there's a lack of elected official experience?
Well, you got me there. I'm not really sure what to say there, but all I can say is that I'm willing to help anybody. I had a handicapped daughter, and I had to deal with a handicapped daughter with cerebral palsy, and I've just dealt with things that have kind of been tough in this life. And I just feel like being the mayor of Vernon, I'm going to make sure things are done right, and I'm going to make sure that the handicapped are looked after, and I'm just going to make sure that the city is, like from the curbs up, it's going to be good, and all the buildings around town are going to be painted and look nice, like A1 welding, I was going to say a while back. It looks like it makes the town look like a mess. And that's the kind of things I'll be doing for Vernon. I'll be doing whatever I can to better Vernon. And I don't think we need a culture center, right? $40 million, I think we can do better than that. We need a new city hall in Vernon. Thank you.
That's your time. Thank you very much, Mr. Gorley. Mr. Olesen, once again, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks. I think when you look at who's going to be the face of a community and who's going to lead, having elected official experience or sitting on a seat in any government doesn't always pertain to the necessary skill set or the abilities of someone who wants to represent the city. I think when you look at wanting to be a mayor, we sit here because we want to represent a community. We want to unite everybody that's part of our community. We want to move the community forward, for the future, for the benefit of the people that call Vernon home, the businesses that invest here, the new investment that's going to come here, and the continuum of building a city. It doesn't stop. It's always going, and municipal government moves slow. And I think understanding that how a process works, you might not need to be the biggest businessman or the most experienced, but I think the will to learn, to accept that there's going to be challenges while you sit in a chair. I think the ability to be open and transparent and honest and be integral about how you represent the community is key. I can say that I've been in business and I've been in senior management for 10 years and I've been in politics for 14 years. But at the end of the day, none of that pertains to my abilities that I'm going to be able to present to a community to move the city overall forward, and understand that the past council has made decisions, and how we look at those decisions and work with a new council and city administration and stuff is really what we should be looking at for a mayor. It's not always experience. It's about who's going to be the voice of the community, who's going to be the face not only here, but in the province, at meetings, country, meetings that pertain where you need to travel to other parts of the country. We need somebody that's willing to put feet on the ground and go and speak to the levels of governments and bring those opportunities we need here in the community, and I think that's key. I think elected official status is not always the key thing to being a mayor of a city. I think it's how you address your issues facing the residents, the taxpayers of the city, and how you move the city forward collectively as a team. It's, again, and I've said this before, it's not an I or me show, it's about we and us. And so I think that's how we need to really look at who we select to become mayor of Vernon this election.
Excellent. We made it through the first topic, and we're all still smiling. So that's a good sign. So there you go. You have an understanding of where these individuals are coming from.